Welcome to the Jackdaw Podcast. This is going to be the first in a series of painting miniatures. We're starting with Star Wars Legion. So, I, Casey Dawson, know nothing about painting miniatures except for you can use acrylic paints. But I have Chris Detty with me, and he does a lot of miniature painting for Warhammer. I was thinking earlier if I wanted to frame you in the light of like professional or amateur.
No.
And I was like, well, I think a professional technically would get paid for their work. I think that's like, so I was like, I would say
I'm
amateur.
not at commission level yet. Let's get realistic.
But you do some really good art on your minis, and we'll show some of that here in a little bit probably. But real quick, so I wanted to do Star Wars Legion because it's a war game that I think kind of suits me better. From playing a little bit of like Kill Team and then watching some Legion videos, but I do know that part of the hobby is painting the minis. That has been expressed to me by you and others in our friend circle. So, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off. We're going to just kind of talk about some of the basics of miniature painting, and then we're going to kind of look at some of the differences between Star Wars Legion kit versus what you would get in like a starter box for Warhammer. So we'll remove this, and then we will get into the actual Legion box. So I was kind of surprised when I opened it on how it looked when it comes out of the package. You actually have a lot of the miniatures are already out of the
Sprues.
Sprues, okay. So that was kind of surprising to me to see. So, for example, we do have...
That's just some random Warhammer terrain.
So, some terrain, but I mean, this is how the miniatures usually come in. So, you would nip them off of these. Because I've done Gundam models before. I do know Gunpla, so I'm not completely going in dark. But this is what I kind of expected to see with Legion, and was kind of surprised to not. So,
honestly, I think we were all pretty much surprised with that. I mean, we went into this box 100% blind. We knew there were stormtroopers, Vader, Luke, and some rebels, and that was about the extent of it.
Yeah. So, I've seen a lot of Star Wars get painted. Like, I've seen the models already painted because I've watched some of the tabletop games to see if it's something I'd even want to play. Because it's not super cheap to get into, but I mean, it's cheaper than trying to get into other war games.
Yeah.
So
Warhammer is definitely the poster child for, wow, how much money did you spend this time? Yeah, no.
So starting off with this, as you can see, we're already, these just a couple of stormtroopers, they're already out of the sprues, and they look pretty well cleaned up. I don't know. My hands are dirty from spray painting boards earlier. But to me, they almost have, and I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but they almost have this like lock, like click lock look to them.
Commonly referred to as keyed, like you would say electronic components.
Okay.
Like how a stick of RAM is keyed so you can't put it in backwards.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, okay. So these arms are going to like pull just apart a little bit. You're going to be gentle with it, I assume. And
I would hope.
These, you almost don't have to glue those in. I'll let you take over here.
While you keep talking.
So, just seeing what this, like how this box already came. Now, I did open it once to really look into it, and the only bag I got rid of was the measurement tools bag, which I will probably leave those alone. I might try to alter them later for my own purposes. But I'm really liking how they're coming in their own little bags. And seem pretty easy to... You can't really just don't take them out and just mix them all up. But the manual, as they should, when you flip through some of these opening pages, there are assembly diagrams, which these are also in Warhammer boxes, correct?
Yeah, they don't look quite like that, but I mean, you're also not having to nip stuff off spruce, so that kind of cuts some of that out.
Okay.
So I went ahead and popped his arms in there. I don't know why you can see that. But I mean, they fit pretty snug. I'm still getting some play, which makes you wonder if maybe, maybe just grab the wrong set of arms for your own body because there were two in there. I would assume they were the same model.
Yeah, they do look to be the same exact kit.
So honestly, I don't really think you need to glue them.
Yeah, they're the same.
Oh yeah, that's the same guy. You don't really don't seem to need to glue them. But I mean, for a little bit of peace of mind, if you wanted to, I would say go for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
so,
just a dab of super glue, maybe. But I mean, you shouldn't have to worry about them just falling off because those got some pretty deep pegs on them. Because I mean, especially in his left shoulder there. I mean, better focus, hopefully. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, but that left shoulder's in there really secure. So I mean, those arms aren't going anywhere.
If you,
they'll still play a little bit, but.
So I got to point out. Usually at the end of our podcast, or YouTube videos, I guess, we say where you can find us, on Twitter and Facebook. And so Jack, one of my former players, did not have any social media whatsoever. Jason has no social media technically, but he does have some Play It All Wrong podcast. So when he first introduced himself, he didn't have any social media. And now we come to you, another millennial in my group who does not have social media. So if you do want to see some of his work, we'll probably be putting it up on our Twitter page. We'll probably do some more videos. And if he gets into doing his own, maybe he'll just fall under the Jack Doll umbrella. And then he won't have to have his own social media. But I think with this book, with the exception of Luke and Vader, I believe each other miniature comes in twos. And also the AT-RT does not come in a second one.
There seem to be two different sculpts for the speeder bikes.
Yeah, one with him shooting behind and one driving forward. Some classic episode 6 scenes.
One of them actually being a good driver.
Yeah, right. So,
yeah, I mean, the guy who hits the tree. So,
earlier I was saying, I've seen a lot of these already pre-painted, and I have seen some really good paints on, regular Star Wars looks. But I didn't want that. So, with what we're going to do this time instead is we're going to try to make Darth Vader look like a 1960s Batman color scheme. So we're talking blue cowl, gray spandex, and then blue underwear, I believe blue boots.
Yeah, blue boots.
And cape.
Blue, yeah, the cape, the gloves.
And then maybe with his buttons in the center. I'm thinking we're doing those like a yellowy.
I was thinking because it should be like a box on his chest. Do the box itself yellow, then highlight some black on the inside to kind of, here's your logo. And
then Luke Skywalker, famously played by Mark Hamill, should be the Joker. So we will have a Batman and Joker. Now Joker, I initially was thinking 1960s colors, which isn't too far from animated series colors. So
the fairly classic purple and green
purple,
hair, white face.
Purple, white face, green hair. I think one of the big differences is the animated series had like a black with like a green kind of like highlight to it. That did look really good. Maybe we'll talk about how we're going to do that if we want to try to pull something like that off. I am familiar with some of the painting terms. So you could do like a dark wash on top of green, maybe, to kind of sink some black into the green hair.
It kind of depends on how bright of a green you want to go. So if you say start with a bright base coat, well, brighter, maybe not necessarily like a full-on acid green, which honestly I think is more of that 60s style, where it was a crazy bright green.
Yeah, it was crazy bright green.
And then if you wanted to tone it down, you say do a black wash, and that would give you that kind of that dark color in like the deeper recesses. Or if you wanted to keep it a little bit more green, just do like a green wash of some kind of variety.
Now, if these miniatures were any larger, we would almost have to give Luke Skywalker a mustache with some sort of modeling agent and then paint over that in white. But I don't think we're going to do that. Now,
no, because you're also talking about Cesar Romero at that point. You're mixing up your sources. Stop it.
So, this stormtrooper is the unit leader, and there's two of them. And famously, there's two other Batman characters in the 1960s. We had the Burt Ward Robin, and then, I'm sorry, I don't remember your real name, but we also had the Batgirl.
Was she in the 60s series?
She was. She was the purple outfit Batgirl.
Man, I'd have to go back and watch.
Yeah. So, I was thinking something like that. We're going to have like a red chest for the Robin with the green tights, and then probably do either a white or skin tone thigh, and then we got to go with the green boots, and then we have green gloves that we're going to put on. I don't know what we're going to do with the helmet yet. And then I was thinking yellow for it has like a shoulder cape. So I was thinking that would be our yellow cape for Robin.
Yep, that would work.
And then for the other one, honestly, it was so much like a metallic purple look that I can recall. That
we'll
have
to
been
go and pull up some images.
Don't quote me, have been the not Batman adult film. So, but then I was thinking, also famously has ginger hair. So how do we want to do that, like red-orange hair, maybe to implement that into this also? So that could be our pauldron, just kind of like the homage collar.
I say for the pauldron, go with the yellow, because you can do multiple tones on the helmet. Like the upper half, like say above the eye line, go ahead and kind of do like a ginger hair sort of color scheme. I can hash that out a little bit, and then go ahead.
And then the top being the cowl would be like where the purple is.
Well, yeah. Oh, you're thinking Batgirl again.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was thinking
I'm thinking back to.
So going back to Robin, so he had the brown hair, so we could do probably like a brown or.
I would say right about the eye line and up. Go ahead. There's your hair color. Then go ahead and paint the domino mask on green, but then go ahead and black out the eye lenses because it's still a stormtrooper. Let's be realistic here. As realistic as this is going to be.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. And now, as far as leader rebel troops, there are a few colors that we could go with. We had Catwoman, but she was basically like in an all-black spandex. So I don't think that's fun. But we did have Riddler, who was one of my favorites. He's actually one of my favorite Batman villains.
Yeah, we can definitely work a Riddler in here.
So I think if we did some bright greens on one of the rebel leaders, there they are. Yeah. So they have this sweet little cape. But very easy green color because we're already going to be dealing with green with the Skywalker hair.
Now, actually, just because, there's only one of him.
Which one?
Because the leader.
No, there's two.
Oh, there's two of them. Oh, okay.
There's two of pretty much each of the models.
So my thought though was since the Rebels are going to be Joker henchmen, essentially, there were in the 1989, Tim Burton Batman movie, Joker had himself a Padre, and they were all like, it was basically black pants, but like the 80s kind of puffy purple faux leather coat.
Oh yeah, those mafiosos.
Yeah.
Now I would like to do that maybe for just like the regular henchmen. Mm-hmm. I was thinking the leader units. I did want to stick to like the Rogues Gallery.
Okay.
So we have Penguin, but once again,
Well, he had a
Black.
slightly more interesting color scheme
He
because there
did
were
have,
like
the
some purple
tie,
highlights.
purple tie,
I want to
purple
say
hat.
yellow cummerbund, maybe. I think is what he had.
Maybe I actually would have to relook at that. I was just looking at them earlier, but then one of primarily you think of Riddler, Joker, Catwoman, and Penguin because of the movie Batman the movie, which best Batman movie ever because sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb. Best line in any Batman movie ever.
Without the heavy metal bat metal voice.
Yes, and then
actually now I think of it, since we got the somebody out there can say, oh, that's what race these guys are. I have no idea the names of Star Wars races. They're kind of these blue skinned bald dudes. Mr. Freeze.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
so
he's halfay there. We just got to give him a dome.
was actually in the 1960s
I know,
Batman show, and I was like, oh, okay, he might be a
pretty
good
prominently
one.
here and there.
I was thinking he might be a good one to just throw in as the other leader because he has a good color scheme. So I wanted some bright color schemes to really separate them out as the leader. And do something fun with them. And then going on, so we'll brainstorm probably a little bit more. Going on over here, the speeder bikes.
If that doesn't get a Batmobile motif,
So that's what I was like, we need to do those black. And then I wanted to see what bits we could do red to get that old Batmobile motif. And then for the
honestly, it'd just be a lot of trim and pinstriping.
for the colors of them, we could do 1960s Batman colors. I'm fine with that. Just to kind of continue that onward, or we could do a Robin or something like that. And then I was thinking, this is maybe a little out there, but with the ATRT, I was thinking if we could just paint it crazy green and purple, just colors, and then take a Sharpie or a paint pen to try to draw on some spray paint tags. I was like, that would be nifty. Using some old verbiage there.
Well, actually, something I might want to look into. Maybe not necessarily the '60s Batman, but keeping in mind there was such this craze, especially in the '80s, to where so many things, there were comic books, superhero, all that was all designed to push toys. So there actually, I think, there is some kind of Joker mobile out there that you could probably find from that era that we can use as kind of a blueprint for the color scheme.
Now this is interesting. So I haven't really looked at this book a whole lot, but it does look like the ATRT comes with 3 loadouts. You could do a laser cannon, a flamethrower, or a rotary blaster when assembling it. Personally, probably going to be either the rotary blaster or the laser cannon. I like flamethrowers, but this vehicle is probably going to be used at range so much.
Well, without knowing how the game plays and what its stat block looks like, I mean, you can go.
You do try to move it in, but it generally, depending on your playstyle too, obviously.
Right. So here's something else that you see a lot. I see all the time in Warhammer stuff. When you go to a tournament, a lot of times it's what you see is what you get. Meaning whatever that guy is modeled with is his loadout. Now sometimes in a more relaxed setting, more casual settings, or even just amongst friends, whatever. Like in my Thousand Sons, I got a couple of guys who are modeled with flamethrowers, but I'm not going to run them as flamers in a tournament right now just because meh. In a casual setting, I could just say, no, these guys just all have bolters, but, and since I'm going to be going to Adepticon here for a 2 golf along, that can't fly there. So what you see a lot of people do is they magnetize. So, honestly, I don't think there's going to be needing to be a whole lot of gluing with this.
Yeah, that one might work for doing some magnets maybe. And that one might even slip in and out. We'll get more into it when we actually see the build.
Once we actually start putting it together. If it's got a tight enough fit, bang, there it is.
So an example of some of Chris's work here, there is this sweet little feller.
Down a little lower.
Yep.
There you go. That's something a little bit more recent, but to be honest, he's probably been sitting on my desk half done for like 6 months. I just finished him up last month. I'm really bad about keeping my projects going.
He looks pretty sick though. So now he has like an arrow, like spears almost.
They're arrows.
Arrows.
But when you're on that scale,
okay,
it's
so
almost a freaking spear.
So if so for instance, if they could wield something else like a javelin or
Right. Yeah, like these guys specifically do have.
Ooh, that pretty eye down there.
Oh yeah, there's some crazy stuff. Zinc stuff, dude. You look into that and you'll be like, okay, what the hell? The thing that should not be. But anyway, like this box of these guys.
Magnets.
So they come in, there's 3 in a box, but there's 2 different variations of them. The guys with the bows or the guys with the spears. So, in an effort to kind of save yourself some money, you get good at using magnets because they're going to use that same, no matter which loadout you're using, it's going to use the same body, the same disc, base, everything, except the only difference is going to be the arms, really. And a lot of times they're set up to where if you just magnetize something, right, maybe a little bit of green stuff, you can go, hey, we're going to just swap them out. Hey, it's this guy running this thing, or it's this guy running this thing. So you definitely see it a lot with like bigger models, tanks and the like, because they have such huge loadouts and differences there, and those kits get pricey. I mean, $50 for 10 dudes is asking quite a bit when they can have.
Oh, how much are Titans?
Shut the hell up.
Yeah, so I had actually, there was a long time ago, before you actually got into Warhammer, you went to a work meeting and I rode with you because I was bored.
Oh, right.
And I went to a Warhammer store, and oddly enough, like I saw a Titan there and I was like, oh, this is really neat. And then I saw the price tag, which was upwards of like $1,000. And I went, oh, it's not that neat. So
that and resin kits kind of suck, not going to lie. That's what really puts me off on those. I'm not
so now this guy, you didn't have to do any basing, did you?
No, this I actually did base.
Oh, did you?
So all I did was, because I mean, it's going to look just like that.
Oh, okay.
Much. So all that is on there is just a GW texture paint, some shading, and then a little bit of dry brushing. And then, I mean, there's how the base is, and then just paint the rim. This guy over here is not based.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, he looks really good. I really like, the shadows, how it all...
So, honestly, the majority of that guy is the GW contrast paint. The yellows, the blues, and then oddly enough, just some more dry brushing on top. And actually, the guy riding him, his green, again, is the contrast. So, I mean, that stuff is... It helps just knock stuff out real quick. And the best thing I found is on something like this that's got, to give some more realism to like skin, it's something that's really texture is what the contrast is good for, because on like flat surfaces, like honestly the best way I can point out is, his one claw right there. You can kind of see where it pulled up real good because it's on a flatter spot.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. So, I mean, that's just something you got to watch out for, that paint in general. But, like, the rest of it, I mean, that was just dry brushing.
Yeah, looking at this thing, so now it's really easy to get down, like, real close into a model and try to, like, pinpoint every little issue that you could find. But, when you're playing with this game, it's sitting on a table and you're 2-3 feet away from it.
Oh, easy.
And so setting this thing down and just kind of looking at it, just how the like semi-gloss or whatever to it, it looks like a leather. So this is such a believable like creature, especially when you just have it sitting down.
It just kind of looked like, oh, it's a damn dinosaur.
Yeah, I was like that. That thing looks like it could move soon. Now, yeah, you do I assume you're going to be doing some basing.
Yeah, once I actually get around to actually, I'm waiting for. They're supposed to be updating the actual army, so I might.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, there might be an Age of Sigmar army I get into, and well, crap, there's more money in mine GW. Yes. Thanks, guys.
So I'm not, for the purposes of this series, and if this continues on, as far as like terrain. So this actually comes with a few barricades,
which are actually nice, solid pieces too.
Yeah, I mean, straight out of the package.
They have some weight. which is honestly surprised the heck out of me that everything in this box. And they, each side has their own colored bases. So if you didn't want to go full tilt and base your models, I think the Rebels were on the red because there's
the large
there's that
ATRT.
guy, which I'm kind of leery about basing this just because it is marked. You can't really see it in the plastic because they're going to have this thing about
a YouTuber I watch, Krabok. He actually has some larger models. It's a Wookiee riding like a Tauntaun or something. And when he was basing, he was painting just along the line.
Oh, I see.
And then he would dip it down into the plastic. Now, these were the ones he based. They were already glued to the bases, and then he based them. Because he kind of he wanted their feet in the sand. Look.
Oh, okay.
So it was actually a really cool video he did with these Wookiees. I highly recommend going and watching his videos. He kind of helped me. Actually, he did, because he was doing a live stream, and I asked him a question during it. So what I wanted to do with these bases, which I don't know if I told you yet, I wanted to do onomatopoeias.
Oh, so, you said something about that.
So having and gluing like pow and bang. So I was going to make stickers or just take pieces of paper and then we would semi-gloss them down. And it would just be like those words like pow and bang and kaboom or whatever.
You might want to look at maybe photo paper. Because that would I think it would just hold up better. Then plus once we actually go...
And then you're going to put
you just glue that down, put a clear coat on top, boom, you're done.
Yeah, so we shouldn't have any issues there.
No muss, no fuss.
I did...
And we don't have to do traditional basing, thank you.
Yeah. I thought it'd be something different and really cool. So here in a second, I think we're going to start actually getting into this. Quit putting it off. I think one of the first steps we're going to do, I think the first step, so when you're doing Warhammer, you'd nip them out and then you clean off the edges. Fortunately, Star Wars Legion, very clean models. So
definitely gonna go over them still just to kind of make sure. I didn't see any mold lines on the Stormtrooper we were looking at earlier, so that fills me with all kind of confidence with that. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to kind of number these or something, so we don't lose too much. I mean, we can always look at the pictures, right?
I would actually recommend leaving stuff in packages that we're not messing with. So
But yeah, just looking at these, and then we're gonna be, I guess, taping them to skewers as best we can to try to get like a base coat on them, and then we'll
go from there.
Kind of go from there. We'll start getting a base coat, and then we'll start painting away soon.